Really enough. I was born at the wrong place at the wrong time. In China, having children was considered the ultimate happiness and good fortune. Naming children was a serious matter, reflecting the hopes, ambitions, and status of the family. My family was well-to-do at the time. When their first baby was born, my parents named it Double Happiness, with banquets lasting 3 days, although with regret, it was a girl. Soon after that, mother was pregnant with a second baby. She was under a lot of pressure. If she couldn't produce a son this time, my father must marry a new wife. She stood on her ground. She gave birth to a baby with a key to paradise between his legs. The best thing in the world. He got the name Repeat Happiness. When Repeat Happiness was 2, mother was pregnant again. It happened that the grandfather was dying while mother was in labor. It was unlucky to give birth in the house while the elderly ascending to heaven. So mother was sent to the family stable. Since the delivery was accompanied by the animals, the baby boy got a proper name, Ox. When Ox was 3, the world was turned upside down. My family's wealth was confiscated, and my parents became the enemy of the state. They were sent to the countryside as peasants and lived in poverty. Just then, the 4th baby was born, adding an extra mouth to feed. Measures had to be taken. Mother decided to give a powerful name to the newborn, so to send a message strong to the above. No more babies. It was tricky, though. It wouldn't be good fortune to name her last baby as No More Happiness, Finished Happiness, or Ended Happiness. With great effort, finally, my scholarly mother hammered out a perfect, auspicious name. Ready? Complete Happiness. But the message didn't go through. The 5th child was born. In desperation, mother simply named it Enough Happiness. Enough wasn't enough. I showed up unexpectedly. Mother threw her hands up and named me Really Enough. Since we were so poor, rice was the only thing to keep us alive. Sometimes we had a little rice, but no firewood to cook with. Sometimes we had fireworks, but no rice. Sometimes we had no rice, but no firewood. To stretch the rice, I had to go to the fields to gather wild weeds, to mix and boil with the little rice we had, to make our bowl a little bit more bulk. It never tasted good, just watery mash. One rare day, my little feet ran a mile to find mother. She was sewing for people as payments for family debts. I was so excited because I had good news to deliver. Mother, Mama, I said, I saw Grandma cooking. Tonight, we are going to have pure white rice to eat and pure rice water to drink. Mother wrapped me in her arms, tears dropping on my face. I was surprised. Why are you crying? Aren't you happy with the good news? Maybe we can even have seconds today. Mother held me tighter, and her head nodded. That was the most important dinner on New Year Eve. When I was a little girl, I never had children's books to read. I never heard such a thing as pediatrician when I had mumps, diphtheria, and skin disease. I saw a vet instead. I often had growth on my eyes. It took turns from left eye to right eye, from right eye to left eye. Once I had 2 growths on my right eye at the same time. One on the upper eyelid, one on the lower eyelid. When the growths matured, they were pink like peaches hanging on my face, looking interesting to others, but burned. Weeks later, after the pus leaked out, the peaches again became dried scars. As a result, my right eye was pulled and stretched bigger and rounder. Because of the deformed eye, I was called a lowly name, pulled eyelid. Besides the growth on my eyes, I had boils all over my body. There was smelly discharge oozing out of the boils. With skin disease like that, I got a lot of attention from flies. They followed me everywhere. And their tiny little tongue eagerly slurping and licking on the yellowish juice. Sometimes, many of them crowding on one boil, no social distancing, as they enjoying a sumptuous feast of it all together. Sorry, am I making anybody hungry here? After the delicious meal, the pregnant female flies would lay eggs on my boils, so to make more baby flies. I lost schooling after the 3rd grade. To earn my daily meal, I became a babysitter and housemaid for a relative living in the school as a school teacher. I watched the students of my own age go into classrooms holding their books in their tender hands. But I was holding the crying twin babies, one in each arm. How I wish to be a student like them, to hold a book and to hold a pen. But I had no right to be in the classrooms like them. Instead, I had endless chores waiting for me. My hands were black from feeding the coals to the stove, and I also saw my black hands with pink flesh from the cracks caused by too much washing of diapers in icy cold water. I dreamed many dreams and tucked a special one in my deep heart. I wished to go to college to be a teacher. But with only 3 years of elementary school, I was ridiculed as an ugly toad, wishes to be a beautiful swan. Impossible, outrageous fantasy, like standing on a ladder trying to plug a star. Pulled eyelid might be my suitable name at one time, but the impossible dream gave me hope, faith, and courage. Eventually, it was that exact impossible dream that awarded me the incredible new name, Margaret, after Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. I believe if Mrs. Thatcher never knew there was a poor eyelid girl, a starved child, an enemy of the state, who lived up to earn the honor to be named Margaret after her, she would be applauding and cheering for me. I accepted the invitation to speak to the medical doctors conference on Chinese medicine. The person who felt more sane was my wise, Caucasian ex-husband. He gave me the heads up. Okay, listen. American doctors are like gods. They are the authority in medical fields. So you know. Now, since you mentioned it, even more eager, I want to meet those gods. We never run out of reasons to disagree. You do what you want. This is America. Just the thought, it's not worth the risk. I knew what he meant. He didn't want me to make a fool of myself in front of the authority. Not worth the risk of ridicule and embarrassment. What could I do if they challenged me with questions that I had no answer? I had 0 medical credentials. Well, not totally. I did work in the medical office for 2 weeks before they fired me. There were words always confusing to me, like infertility versus infidelity, and I greatly surprised and shocked my patients in the clinic when I was misused them. Now you know why I was fired. Having ADD, I had a hard time forcing myself to concentrate on preparing my speech. Like the first time I was put on the stage with a live audience in Irvine Improv, I wasn't prepared as my fellow comics. But I lucked out. I made the audience laugh and I didn't bomb. I wished to be lucky again. When the time arrived, I just showed up at the conference. It was a big hall. A technician was in the center with equipment to videotape me for future education purposes. After a psychiatrist introduced me, which was appropriate, I laughed to myself. And then I walked up to the high stage, passing by an American flag at the corner of the stage. I glanced my audience. A sea of white coats looking so serious. I became nervous and I lost my train of thought. It appeared to my mind how mother was put on the stage to be publicly accused and shamed. I turned and looked at the American flag. My heart filled with profound gratitude. A spark flashed among the stars, ignited my brain instantly. I remembered my secret, a powerful weapon, humor, which worked to my favor so many times. I wanted those straight faces to lighten up, and I wanted the folded arms to drop down. Thank you for having me here today. It's such a privilege. I only wished they could understand the true meaning of the word privilege from me. I continued. I heard people say doctors are gods, but after I meet you here in person, I agree. They smiled, they chuckled, and I broke the ice. Okay, before my presentation, I'd like to introduce you a very potent IQ point that will induce instant energy and natural endorphins. I could hear buzzing murmurs down the stage. The word endorphin must be of interest. Please close your hand to a fist like this. The acupoint at the tip of your middle finger is called labor palace on your pericardium meridian. See? Now, there is this ancient method to activate this point on both of your palms. Simply by putting your hands together like this. Ready? 1, 2, 3, clap! In a flash, the big hall resonated with a roar of laughter and clapping. I got the applause I wanted. Gone were the folded arms and long faces. Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm so humbled. I'm curious about what kind of schools you all went. Don't mean to be bragging or anything. As myself, I went to Harvard Medical School for a Saturday tour. A burst of laughter with applauses, validating their acceptance. An acceptance not just from anybody, but from God. I am a warrior and have triumphed over oppression tyranny, poverty, and disease. How fortunate we are here in America, the land of the free. Unlike me, you don't have to lose schooling to appreciate education. You don't have to suffer poverty to appreciate abundance. And you don't have to experience injustice to appreciate democracy. I have an extraordinary message to share. Dreams do come true. No matter who you are, where you are, and how old you are. As long as you have hope, faith, and courage. Wish you all dream big, dream wild, and dream